Hello and welcome to Tales from the Interface Live. My name is Emmanuel and I will be drawing in front of you for the next hour. Tales from the Interface is a comic where virtual reality has become so great that people will do anything to be part of that world. But it has been rationed according to your social status. Check out my comic at tfti.incorporate.com. You will find a link in the description. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Saturday morning. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I got a I got a question this week by a new subscriber. Let me. First of all, big welcome to you, Michael Berry, and also Laura Mondeli, who's actually I'm following on Instagram, I believe. So welcome you both to our little family. So back to what I was saying. So Michael asked the question, and I'm gonna share my screen now. He asks, how do you tell for the word balloon on the new Clip Studio art? It does not have the feature anymore, the default feature anymore. So, okay, so the way I do balloons usually, I just copy them because I'm a little bit lazy. But I just looked into the features a little bit, and I'll show you how they work. It's actually not too difficult. As I said, typically, when I'm in the panel, let's say I like this balloon, I'm just gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna move it to another panel, and all these bubbles here are just copies of each other. And I think that's the way to go. Once you set up a style, copying is the best way to ensure that all your balloons look the same. You might have some specific cases where you don't want a specific style, so you might want to create a new one, and that's great. So let me show you how that works. So now there's a pretty handy little tool here, just below the type symbol. And it's the balloon subtool. So let me show you how that works. So you have many kind of balloon that you can do actually. You have the rounded, ellipse, curve, balloon pen, and balloon tail, and top balloon tail. So I'll take you to each one of those. Okay. I know Michael was about the tail itself. This is we'll touch on that when we reach those. Basically, let me show you the difference between them. So this is a rounded. This is a, just let me check. I'll just make it the same. This is an ellipse. So ellipse, you can make them like oval or round if you press shift. And curve is a little bit weird. I think it's more used for manga. You see that more there. You can do a kind of thing like that. You see it often in mangas. Because their writing is top to bottom. Can be top to bottom. So that's how they use it. Now there's many options that you can do. You should think about the style of your bubbles, your balloons. Let's say they're currently all on the same layer. Here you can do that, or you can make them in separate layers. I'll just keep them on the same. So let's say I want to edit this one. Here are the options, so you can choose to make the line thicker, like this. Just brush size will make it thicker. There's many options. I don't do all of them, but you can do a lot of stuff here. It's pretty cool. I personally don't try to do that too much. It's pretty cool though. I'm sure you can create your own kind of thing with that to make the lines very personalized. I keep it simple, but I should probably try to, you know, create some little bit of more interest in there. So that's basically how you kind of set up your thing. You have the line and fill color option. That's pretty basic. So they all work like that. So you can do that. Now, if you want to add a tail to those, there's actually 3 kinds of tails that you can add. One is the first one they have is the balloon pen. So you want to make sure that your that the size of your line, and let me just adjust something here. It won't be long, I'm sorry. Because if you don't know, I've streamed this on many different channels, so I want to make sure that I catch any comments. Right, so I was talking about the balloon pen. So the balloon tail pen is really cool. Let me show you. So you can basically draw the tail as funky as you want. So you can have like a kind of curve like that. And you see it merges in with the bubble. So that's a way to create a tail that's, you know, more curved or less curved. And of course you need to match the size of your line. So so there you go. That's too small, so it'll be probably 10. So the good thing is that typically you set up your balloon once and you shouldn't have to mess with them again. So that's the way to create a custom balloon tail, and I do like this way a lot. That's not what I'm using, but I probably should be using that because I do like when the line curves a little bit. The next one is a balloon tail, and that's pretty much what I've been using. So it's just a straight line, and you can add as many as you want. And there's an option to control the width. So let's say I want something crazy here, which looks totally horrible, but yeah. So you can control fairly in detail how you want your and you don't have to mess with the brush. It just takes the brush of your balloon here, so that's good. The last one is the thought balloon. So this is when you are having a character think about something, right? So we just create those lines. So you have to mess with the width of the tail on this one as well. So it kind of creates something like that. You can adjust. I don't know how much I like that. I don't use thought a lot in my comic. So another thing here, I don't really mention it, but I never actually used that. So let's try. Ooh. I think I'm gonna use that later on. This funky manga style explosions. I was wondering where that was. Okay, so it's under in the balloon options. That's weird. All right, anyway, I was kind of doing them by myself. Okay, so now that you got some bubbles, you want some text inside, and I'm gonna erase those because they're simply horrible. I'm gonna create a new one. Okay, so I drew them on my layer that had my good bubble, so I don't want to lose that, so I'm just gonna and you see the tail are linked, are not part of the bubble themselves. They're separate. They're separate piece that kind of connects and merge to create a seamless bubble. So I'm gonna create a new one just to show you. I kind of like those ellipse one, and I think for my next chapter I'm gonna be using the not ellipse, the rounded one. I think it's very cool. It makes it a little bit easier to put text inside, and I do like the pen as well. Do I have the right width though? I don't. And I think that my balloon here has a fill color that's not exactly white. Yes. So going back to my balloon, I'm gonna create a tail, and I'm still not having the right width, so let's try 15. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So, well, there you go. That's kind of good. Maybe not perfect, but it's gonna do for now. Now I want to put some text. I already set it up this a little bit. I use the font called Invulnerable from Blambot, BB Blambot. I highly recommend them. And in fact, if you want to learn more, they do offer some tips. I'll try to remember to show them to you afterwards. So if you want to put text in, you just type it, and okay, let me erase that one that I tried earlier just to make it easier. Okay, so I kind of like to keep my bubbles in a single layer. I don't want they kind of want to merge together. The program kind of wants to do that. I don't really like it. So I'm having white, so that's not gonna work. So let's see black, and then I'm gonna pick some Lorem Ipsum text. Just give me a minute, because I don't want to type too much. This computer station is optimized for drawing, not typing. So. Just grab a section of Lorem Ipsum text. This is used in, I show you, this is used in graphic design. It's just some random text taken from different sources and merged together. It looks like Latin a little bit. But it's good for layouts. So you end up with something like that. And then I didn't find a real way to make this better, but what I basically do is that I just go and create some returns, and then I'm sure there must be a better way, but sometimes Paint has some stuff that's a little bit weird, the way it works. Just finish this. Okay, so start with that. So first of all, I like a few things that I'm going to show you. I want my text to be centered. I want it and a font size that makes sense. And the only real way to know if your font size makes sense is to print your page at the actual size that you're gonna make your comic. For a webcomic, I guess it doesn't matter too much. It just needs to make sense on the like a screen that people are gonna use to watch it. I have a like 10, but what I did is that my books are printed at 6x9, and then I printed my pages at 6x9, and I said, I know, look if the text was visible, was readable easily. With all cap text, I find that for comics, you can go to the options here, the subtool options, and you kind of want to reduce the line space a little bit to make it a little bit tighter. I don't think it affects the reading too much. If it was lowercase, it would, but since it's all uppercase, I think it's fine. I think it looks better. So basically, I will go here and just adjust so that it fits as best I can. Okay, and then sometime it doesn't really fit. I say, oh, this needs to be larger. So I can go ahead and stretch it, and I must say that ClickPaint is pretty smart about it. So once you're happy with it, it's probably not perfect, but since I have this super long word, it's a lot of trial and error. I think like this might, probably, you need to try to find the right balance. I guess this comes from, experience and personal preference. So, see, it doesn't really work better. So, you kind of want to try to find a way that looks the most elegant. I think it was better with how it was. It's not too bad actually. But then you have those two words. So when you have a lot of long words, it's never easy. So once you're so that's not entirely satisfied with it, but I think it's good. You can play on your words as well. Try to find some words that fit better in the bubble. This is some random text, so. But if I was doing it with real text, I would probably try to edit my text at this point a little bit. But let's say that looks better already. Okay, so now that you're kind of satisfied with the layout, you just adjust the bubble. You want that the white space around is even all around. So often I see people doing some stuff like that. It just fits, but it's super stuck to it. I don't think that looks very good. So I would suggest giving some space around. This might be a bit big. The best thing to do really is look at your overall comic and try to follow the same style. Go back to your page 1 and see, oh, okay, how much space I usually put. Try to match it as best you can so that there's a feeling of continuity throughout your comic. So that's why I wouldn't start using the rounded balloon at this point for half of the chapter. So I might change at the next chapter, which is more acceptable. Although you don't. Typically for one book, you wouldn't want to change too much. So I think I want to change because it's much better. But at the same point, you want to try to make it unified as much as possible. So now the tail can be moved as much as you want. You can angle it. You can do whatever you want. You can adjust the vector points here until you're satisfied with it. Move it around if that's what you want it on its own layer. So let's say I want Earth to speak. I could potentially do it like that. You want the curve of the balloon to curve towards the one who's speaking. Another thing is you want to try to make it so the point of your balloon is in a place that you can see it. So in this point, that's what kind of why I put it under, because you can see the shape of the balloon very well. Here, if I put it there, it kind of blocks my other stuff. So I wouldn't put a real balloon here, obviously. I mean, I could, I guess, put it there, but then it's very far, and then I would need to move this this thing to another location. Whoops. Come on. Guess I could like angle it or whatever. I can flip it around. You can always try to find some way of using it. Anyway, as just an example. Okay, another thing that you don't want to do with bubbles is with balloons is put them too close to the side like this. Like this create what we call a tangent, so you don't want to do that. Let them breathe a little bit. At least I would say if you have this margin inside, then keep the same margin outside. You know what? Here I had to do with the text. I thought this was the best balance. So I don't want this balloon anymore. I'm gonna delete it. And I think I covered pretty much the basics on how this is a new balloon I created for this live. I'm not gonna use it. Delete. Wow. I kind of like the round balloons as well. I don't know. But for long text, I feel like the rounded corners work better. Yeah, so this is pretty much what I had to say about balloons as a quick, quick covering of them. I would recommend you check out Blambot. That's where I bought this font. I think they have great products, and they let indie comic makers use the fonts without any extra license or anything. So I really recommend it. They have so many cool fonts, just look at the sound effect, like really cool stuff, like chainsaw. So it's free. So a lot of them are free. See, for indie comic use. So if you're making a small comic, then it's cool. You can use that. I chose Invulnerable because it's one of the fonts that he did that are that contain the European Invulnerable. Because my comic's in French as well, so includes the European characters. So this is pretty important for me since my my comic is in French as well. So I wanted that, so I chose this font. I think I do like it. I think it's pretty cool. And also, I forgot what his name is. He always signs as Blam, but anyway. But he actually does comic for lettering for professional comics. So he's actually working in that field, and he gives some very good tips, actually, a little bit of what I've been saying here, and you can look at it. It's pretty detailed, and they're really good tips. And I really suggest that you look into it, like this one. See, don't cross the balloon. It's like, don't cross the stream. If one is on the left, put the balloon on the left. That's very basic stuff. It's very good. His name is Nate Piekos. So I would really suggest you look it up because it's really cool. Let me just, I'll just paste this in the chat, so I think most people can access it from there. It should appear on most of the other chats. All right, so that's pretty much what I had to say about balloons. I am going now to be okay, let me just adjust my things here. So where am I? I am at page 21 of my 24 pages chapter. This week I shared on Instagram that I reworked one of my panel, my dinosaur panel, and I drew this. I think it's the same page actually. It's just the page on the left here. Yeah, I redrew this panel because I thought my previous asteroid looked like crap. I think it looks pretty much more epic. Yeah, so I was happy doing that. I always loved dinosaurs as a kid, so it's always fun to draw them. But today, what I'm working on is more shadowing. If you didn't know, I'm currently working on the last few pages of my comic, sorry. And I am very close to being done with those. So I think that in a couple of weeks, I might put the chapter online. I am not sure though. I do want to go through the pages once more, see if there's anything that I want to adjust before I push them online. But I think that most of the pages, if not all, look as good as I want to take them right now, I think. But I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna go through all the page once more, just give it an overall look and decide if I want to spend more time on them. I could also so one thing I might do as well is just leave it like that, and then when I actually finish the other half of the chapter, maybe go back to this and decide if there's any fix that I feel need to be done. Now I think that you need to be how do I say? You need to see what is really worth doing versus what you could do. I mean, I could do a lot. I could spend a lot of time to redo everything. Obviously, I could start over the whole comic and from the beginning and fix out every little thing that I see. But in the end, where would that take me? I mean, sure, it could be cooler, but I think I wouldn't learn as much as by continuing where I am now. So although I might do a few changes here and there, I don't want to make huge changes from the beginning unless I have very good reason to do so. I'm doing this for my love of comics. I'm not getting paid for it. I mean, I do sell books, but it's not really paying me anything like what I'm putting into it. So I kind of sounds like a defeat, but it's not. I mean, the point of all this is having fun and making something I like. And the only one I really need to please in the end is myself, I think. Although I'm really happy when when my work, can make other people happy. I'm not sure when I'm going with this. Sometimes I talk too much. Um, yeah. So it's a delicate balance, I think, between what words to be done. I think it's a conversation I had that kind of resonated with me a lot. With the creator of Titan. Oh my god, his name is escaping me right now. I don't know. Sometimes it's a stupid blank, but anyway, we were talking about like, because his style is very cool, but it's a bit rougher. Can I say that? Like he doesn't. Let's say he doesn't put as many details as I might do. So he was saying that to him, you know, there's only so many comics he can do in his life, and he, you know, learning to tell the story is kind of the most important thing versus spending a lot of time on details. And I took me a while, but I'm starting to think like that as well. Some of the stuff I've done in the early pages, you know, are extremely detailed. They look cool, and I do like them. But there is a way, I think, to use details in a clever way, not as a way when it adds to the story. So does drawing this very complex thing help tell your story? So, you know, just quickly, if I look at this panel here of the library, it took forever to do, okay? But I think that it brought a lot to the story in the sense of scale. And there's many panels in that section of the story that feature these books. And I think that having all these books, it wouldn't feel the same if it wasn't so busy, if they weren't like surrounded by it. In the end, I think there might be even too much space. Maybe I should add more books even. But I wanted to have this feel of being, you know, surrounded by them. So I think that this was an example of a detail that's good, that adds to the story overall. Putting detail for the sake of detail, I'm not sure how beneficial it is. I think maybe at this point of where I am, I can only do this so many, you know, hours per week, so I think I need to be efficient. I want to make more stories. There's a story I want to do, and it bugs me, and I cannot do it because I'm doing this one that I do want to finish, but I can't work on the other one because I need to finish this one first. So I'm not saying that I would I want to create subpar work, of course, but I do want to find ways to be more efficient and put detail where it is most efficient. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to. Sometimes I'm afraid of saying things the wrong way. Well, my main goal here is to tell a story, so you know. if having a lot of detail helps me tell that story more efficiently, then let's do it. Art with wood's amazing. I'll give you a little nature update from my backyard. So we've been having we have a few caterpillars coming in, and that's something I've been wondering if I should share that on Instagram or focus purely on art, because I do love nature as well, and I kind of feel like it's related because it does inspire me a lot. But I heard so many people say, "Oh no, you shouldn't put anything that's not art related on your Instagram." I am never planning to put anything about my personal life on there, but I think maybe like nature stuff could be interesting. So what's interesting that I wanted to say was that I let some native milkweed grass plants grow in my backyard, and they're great because they attract a monarch butterfly. And this year, for the first time, I have a decent size caterpillar on there, like a monarch caterpillar. I really can't wait to see it go through the stages. I hope it does, and I hope that it can, go and do its big migration and everything. They're so amazing, these guys. So yeah, so there's one there in my milkweed plant, but also in my in one of my other plants, which is a anise. Is it anise in English? I forgot. Well, it's having, I think, 4 or 5 little caterpillars there, and they're pretty cute. They're like not even a centimeter long. I should go check this morning because these guys they can go quite fast. So they might be much bigger already. And yeah, I wish them luck too. And what I'm planning is having a lot more milkweed in my backyard so that I can attract more monarch, and I'll give them a place where they can have little babies. Saw a bunch of cool insects this summer, like the largest centipede I ever saw. What else did I see? I saw like a purely golden beetle. I should post all that, I think. looks pretty good. All right. Ah, moved this to the wrong place. All right. One more done. So what I'm doing now is if you notice, there's some little holes in my drawing like this, and this will show up in print especially. So it's very good to just fill them up, don't leave them like that. And you know what? There's actually something I forgot to say about balloons. In Clip Paint Studio, you have this material library that you can use as well. I don't typically use it much, but you know, you have all these effects that are pretty cool. They're very manga oriented, but so you have all these balloons that are pre-made here that you can use and make use of, and they work pretty much the same way. Let's say I put this cloud here, and then you know I can go to my balloon tools, and then select the top balloon, and then you know you can do stuff like that. So this is something to think about as well. You have this accessible as well that you can use. Yeah, you can make use of all these materials. I just don't typically do it, but if it's helpful to you, this is something you can use as well. You know, there are so many things in there that I never try, like the pause. Yeah, see, there are all these mannequins that you can actually use and to make sense of different pauses. I should probably use that actually. Some stuff that could have been useful, but I use reference instead. Anyway, maybe I'll try to use it later. That's just a little thing extra that you can try to use as well. I believe that you can make your own as well. You can upload them to the server, and there's a community on Clip Paint as well. I don't really do anything for that, but you know, you can make use of these resources as well. And that about wraps it up for today. I hope that this was interesting to you and that you learned something. And thank you again, Michael, for asking a question. This is really what this is about. I mean, I'm doing this for you guys. If you have any question you would like to know something about Clipping Studio or comics in general, I'll be glad to take a look into it and try to answer as best I can. I really thank you for coming by and watching this. You can reach out to me on all the social media. I appreciate shares, I appreciate follows and all that stuff. Thank you again also to the new follower Laura Mondelli, who you can check out on Instagram, I believe. And she also has a Facebook page, I think. Well, anyway, this about wraps it up. So we'll see you again next Saturday or around the interface.